Have you ever been ignored by someone you had feelings for? Or maybe you sent out job applications and received nothing but silence? What if I told you rejection might be the most powerful gift you've ever received? Picture yourself standing under the looming shadow of rejection, not just in love, but across the vast terrains of your professional path and your social world. That one-sided affection, the unreturned messages, the quiet heartbreaks. We often think of these as isolated to romance, but they echo in the unread job applications, the passed-over promotions, the unnoticed efforts in friendships or conversations. But what if we told you this? What if these stings, particularly those from romantic failures, could be reshaped into fuel for resilience, growth, and profound self-understanding? This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, especially the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, becomes our torch, illuminating not only the maze of love, but every corner of life touched by rejection. In a digital world where rejection now plays out in front of an audience, likes, views, or worse, silence, its emotional weight can feel doubled. But that's also why the Stoic tools we're about to explore feel more relevant than ever. These ancient principles don't just soothe the soul, they give us a structure, a strategy, and a path forward. Now, imagine this: every no, every ignored text, every disappointment in your career or community becomes a stepping stone to something greater, a deeper knowledge of who you are, an unshakable core of self-worth. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, used Stoicism not just to endure, but to strategically transform setbacks into strength. As we navigate the minefields of dating, the cutthroat world of work, and the delicate threads of friendship, let's learn together how these 13 Stoic lessons can help us not just survive rejection but thrive because of it. These are not abstract ideas. These are real tools for emotional strength, for personal mastery, for reclaiming your dignity after every heartbreak. We reframed rejection not as an end, but as a new beginning for inner strength. Now, let's unlock the very first lesson in our Stoic journey, a lesson that may sound simple, but has the power to shift your emotional foundation completely. Lesson 1: ignore them. 2. In our hyper-connected world, this principle might sound counterintuitive. After all, so much of our self-worth seems to be shaped by how others react to us. But that's exactly why this lesson matters more than ever. Imagine a scene not just at work or a social gathering, but in the deeply personal arena of modern dating. You express genuine interest in someone, hoping for a real connection. What comes back? Silence, indifference, maybe even outright rejection. It's a situation so many of us have faced, and often the urge is to chase validation, to win them over, or worse, to take their lack of interest as proof that something is wrong with you. But here, the Stoic principle, ignore them, emerges not just as helpful but vital. Now, to be clear, this isn't about ghosting people or passive-aggressively cutting ties. It's not about withdrawing into coldness or retaliation. Rather, it's about shifting the spotlight inward. As Epictetus wisely said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Instead of spiraling into obsession over someone's lack of interest, you pivot. You turn your energy toward growth. You invest in friendships, passions, and pursuits that actually fulfill you. You become the source of your own joy. And in that pivot, you reclaim power. You break the cycle of hinging your value on someone else's approval. Because ignoring them is not about being heartless, it's about being self-directed. It's about knowing your worth is not at the mercy of anyone's acceptance or rejection. It is resilience. It is emotional independence. It is the quiet confidence that external opinions can no longer shake your inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength in the realm of personal relationships. This means, while you can't dictate how others feel about you, you do have full authority over your reaction and where you choose to focus your energy. So in truth, ignore them is not a harsh directive, it is a compassionate reminder. Choose you, prioritize your peace, nourish your growth, especially in a world where attention is fleeting and validation often feels transactional. By doing so, you begin to build an inner sanctuary, one that remains untouched by rejection, undisturbed by silence. We learned how to ignore without losing compassion, how to protect our peace instead of chasing validation. But what if the situation escalates? What if it's not silence you face, but a sharp word or a painful misunderstanding? What should you do when your emotions are on the verge of taking over? Lesson 2. Don't react. In the ever-changing landscape of modern relationships, it's incredibly easy to get caught in a web of emotional reactivity. Whether it's conflict, miscommunication, or unmet expectations, our first instinct is often to react quickly, emotionally. But this is precisely where Stoic wisdom offers a powerful alternative. Stay calm. Respond with dignity. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, offered timeless advice. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Simple, isn't it? Yet deeply transformative. Imagine this: you're in a romantic relationship and suddenly you feel slighted or misunderstood. The urge is there to send a sharp reply, to snap back, to make yourself heard and defended. But here's what the Stoics would say: pause, breathe, observe your feelings, then choose your response not with rage or ego, but with grace. This doesn't mean you suppress or ignore your emotions. On the contrary, you acknowledge them. You just don't hand them the steering wheel. You don't let your momentary emotion become your permanent consequence. By maintaining your calm and choosing your words and actions thoughtfully, you develop a resilience few possess. You sharpen your emotional intelligence. You build relationships rooted in respect, not reaction. This is especially crucial in dating, where emotions often flare unexpectedly. Maybe you finally worked up the courage to ask someone out, and they declined. In that moment, it's easy to let rejection sting. But instead of reacting with hurt or bitterness, you choose steadiness. Because maybe, just maybe, the rejection isn't personal. Perhaps they're dealing with something you can't see. Perhaps they're attracted to a different gender. Perhaps they're carrying their own grief, their own heartbreak. Reacting emotionally only drags you down into that storm. And more importantly, when you react emotionally, you hand over your power. You abandon your values for a fleeting outburst. Cato the Younger, a Stoic known for his unwavering integrity, once said, "I would rather be right than be popular." A simple sentence, but a life-changing principle. And so, in moments of emotional chaos, this becomes your compass. Respond rightly, not reactively. Choose to be anchored to your truth, not tossed around by the waves of the moment. Lesson 3. Remove them from your mind. This Stoic lesson strikes at the heart of modern emotional struggle. In relationships, especially romantic ones, it's incredibly common for our thoughts to revolve around one person. What are they thinking? Why didn't they reply? Did I say something wrong? We live in a world where attention and approval have become silent currencies of self-worth. And that's precisely why this principle, remove them from your mind, is both urgent and liberating. Now, let's be clear. This isn't a call to abandon your relationships or emotionally disconnect. It's not about becoming cold. It's about consciously choosing not to let someone else's interest, indifference, or attention become the core of your identity. It means gently turning your focus inward, toward your own growth, your values, your progress. It means asking yourself, am I thinking about this person more than I'm thinking about my goals, my joy, my direction? Cato the Younger, a revered figure in Stoic philosophy, embodied this ideal. Known for his strict discipline and unshakable integrity, he lived according to principle, not popularity. His actions stemmed from what was right, not from whether others approved. And we see a similar message from Socrates, who famously advised to find yourself. Think for yourself. In relationships today, this translates to self-reflection. Instead of overanalyzing someone else's behavior, you analyze your own values and ambitions. Instead of worrying about how others perceive you, you focus on how you want to grow. In a world ruled by social media and dating apps where every swipe and notification can feel like a statement of worth, this lesson becomes even more powerful. Because each time you remove someone from your mental spotlight, you give that light back to yourself. Remove them from your mind is not about neglecting love or community. It's about ensuring that your happiness isn't built on their reactions. It's about understanding your self-worth is not fragile. It doesn't hinge on whether someone texts you back or likes your photo. It's a commitment to redirect your energy to self-care, personal growth, and the pursuit of your own virtues. To build a life that's meaningful because you defined it that way. As Epictetus reminded us, we are not disturbed by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens. And so, when you change those thoughts, when you take back your mind, you take back your power. We learn to free our mind from others and reclaim our focus. But once you've turned inward, grounded yourself, and remembered your worth, what's the next step when rejection knocks? Lesson 4. Demonstrate your value. Rejection, whether in love, work, or social situations, can leave us feeling unseen or unworthy. But from the Stoic perspective, rejection is not an insult. It's an invitation to show the strength of your character not to others, but to yourself. Demonstrate your value isn't about proving your worth to win people over. It's about affirming the values, strengths, and dignity that are already within you. Intelligence, in this context, is not just academic sharpness. It's emotional intelligence, the ability to understand your emotions, regulate them, and empathize with others. When rejection happens, true intelligence is revealed in your ability to reflect, to grow from the experience, and to apply that wisdom moving forward. And don't underestimate the power of humor. No, it's not about making fun of your pain or pretending things don't hurt. It's about perspective, about maintaining a lightness of spirit. Even in moments that feel heavy, a well-placed smile, a light remark, a chuckle through the discomfort, that's resilience dressed in joy. Kindness, too, is a profound act of strength, especially when you're rejected. Choosing to treat others with grace, even when they don't reciprocate, is not weakness, it's self-respect. It's the quiet power of compassion that doesn't depend on being liked or understood. And above all, integrity. This is the foundation of all Stoic virtue. Integrity means acting according to your principles no matter how others behave. Whether you're praised or dismissed, chosen or passed over, you stay true to your values. As Seneca said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a person perfected without trials. Rejection is the friction. It refines your character. It challenges you to sharpen your intelligence, keep your humor, extend kindness, and hold firmly to your integrity. So, demonstrate your value isn't a reactive move, it's a proactive philosophy. It's not about proving anything to them. It's about living in alignment with your highest self. When you do that consistently, calmly, you not only handle rejection more gracefully, you also begin to attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the life that reflects your true worth. We learned how to demonstrate our inner worth through integrity and emotional strength. But sometimes the most powerful act of self-respect is walking away. Lesson 5. Cut off contact. Rejection can leave behind an invisible thread, a lingering connection that keeps tugging at your thoughts and emotions. Whether it's a romantic disappointment, a professional letdown, or a strained friendship, continuing to engage with the source of that rejection can prevent you from healing. Stoic philosophy, grounded in inner peace and rational decision-making, reminds us that protecting our mental well-being is not selfish, it's essential. Sometimes the most rational and compassionate choice is to cut off contact, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. This decision is not about resentment or punishment. It's a conscious redirection of your time, your energy, and your emotional bandwidth towards something that truly serves your well-being. Seneca offered a timeless perspective, as is a tale. So is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. And sometimes, making your life better means letting go of what weighs it down. Cutting off contact is not a retreat, it's a step forward, a step toward healing, reflection, and personal restoration. This space away from the source of hurt gives you room to breathe again, to rediscover your center, to realign your goals and values, to reclaim the parts of yourself that may have been overlooked while you were entangled in longing or confusion. But this process only works if you approach it with a spirit of forgiveness and understanding both. Toward the other person and toward yourself, it's not about erasing what happened, but releasing its emotional grip on your present. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And in this case, your reaction is release. You choose clarity over chaos, peace over resentment. After learning to cut ties with what no longer serves you, it's time to turn inward to rise, rebuild, and show the world and yourself what you're truly capable of. Lesson 6. Prove them wrong. There's a quiet fire that ignites within us when we're underestimated. Rejection stings especially when it carries the message, "You're not good enough." But instead of seeking revenge or showing off in defiance, the Stoic approach invites us to rise with purpose. This lesson isn't about winning over those who doubted us. It's about reclaiming our self-image. It's about stepping beyond the version of ourselves that others, and perhaps even we believed, was limited. Prove them wrong becomes real when we take practical steps, setting personal goals, learning new skills, pursuing passions, and pushing the boundaries of what we once thought possible. Whether it's succeeding in your career, embracing a creative path, or simply mastering something new, each step forward becomes living proof that you are far more than any rejection implies. Because sometimes rejection plants seeds of doubt in your own mind. It doesn't just question your abilities, it convinces you to question them too. But through focused action, you can begin to tear down those internal barriers, and in their place, you build confidence, resilience, and momentum. This lesson aligns deeply with the Stoic belief in action. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In other words, don't tell the world who you are. Show them through your work, your progress, your strength. By embodying your capabilities and values in concrete ways, you don't just disprove others' misconceptions, you strengthen your own character and resolve. Ultimately, prove them wrong is not about others. It's a powerful reminder that rejection, while painful, can be a turning point. A call to awaken your potential, a challenge to rise above self-doubt, a chance to transform hurt into personal success. After proving your worth and turning rejection into motivation, the next step may surprise you. Give yourself permission to enjoy life again. Lesson 7. Go out and have fun. Rejection can leave you heavy. It creates emotional weight that presses on the heart and clouds the mind. In such moments, joy may feel far away or even inappropriate, but the Stoics offer a refreshing reminder. Joy is essential, not as escapism, but as emotional medicine. Engaging in fun and leisure isn't about avoiding your feelings, it's about creating space to process them with clarity and calm. Whether it's laughing with friends, pursuing a hobby, or simply walking through a park while listening to music, these acts help us step away, just for a while, from the mental strain rejection brings. And in stepping away, we often come back with new energy, new perspective. Taking breaks, seeking lightness, and embracing enjoyment can give us the clarity we need to reapproach challenges with strength, not burnout. This aligns beautifully with a Stoic core idea. Focus on what you can control. As Epictetus put it, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. You may not control how others treat you, but you can choose how you care for your emotional well-being. Choosing to have fun, to laugh, to feel good again, that's an act of self-compassion, a quiet form of resilience. In summary, go out and have fun isn't just a feel-good suggestion, it's a Stoic-inspired strategy. It invites us to actively nourish our emotional health, to balance the difficult parts of life with light, meaningful moments of joy. After recharging with joy and finding renewed strength, the next step is not retreat but engagement. This lesson invites us to step outward, not just for ourselves, but for the good of the world around us. Lesson 8. Build social status. Rejection can shrink us inward. It can cause self-doubt, make us question our worth, and lead to isolation. But Stoicism teaches us to respond by rising through personal growth and meaningful contribution. Build social status, in the Stoic sense, has nothing to do with fame, wealth, or shallow recognition. It's about enhancing our value to society through action, virtue, and service. This begins with personal development, whether it's learning a new skill, improving physical health, expanding knowledge, or cultivating emotional strength. Each step is a brick in the foundation of a stronger, wiser you. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, put it powerfully. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. Rather than react to rejection with resentment, focus your energy on becoming someone you admire. But building social value doesn't stop with the self, it extends outward to the community. Volunteering, helping others, or simply being present for those in need strengthens not only society, but your own sense of purpose. Seneca reminded us, we are all parts of one great body. When you contribute to something greater than yourself, you discover a sense of belonging and meaning that transcends individual disappointment, and as a natural result, though not, the goal, your efforts begin to attract new relationships, fresh opportunities, and a deeper level of respect. Your social value grows not because you chase approval, but because you live your values. In the end, build social status is about building character. It's about making your life meaningful through consistent growth and contribution. It's a powerful response to rejection, one rooted in action, integrity, and purpose. We learned how to build social value through growth and contribution. But what if the person who rejected you still lingers in your daily life? How do you stay grounded when interaction is inevitable? Lesson 9. Act as if they don't exist. At first glance, this might sound harsh, but in truth, it's a refined Stoic tactic for handling unavoidable, emotionally complicated interactions with calm, strength, and dignity. In cases where someone who hurt or rejected you is still present, perhaps a colleague, a friend in a shared circle, or someone in your professional environment, completely avoiding them isn't always possible. That's where this mindset comes in. Act as if they don't exist doesn't mean giving them the cold shoulder or pretending they're invisible. Instead, it's about internal detachment. You maintain necessary interactions with courtesy and professionalism, but without allowing personal emotions to dictate your behavior. You're not reacting from a place of pain or pride, you're responding from your principles. As Epictetus wisely said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. So, when you choose to act with composure, as if their presence has no power over your inner world, you reclaim your peace. You no longer allow their behavior to determine your emotional state. Equally important is the avoidance of unnecessary confrontations. It's tempting, especially when we feel hurt, to talk it out in hopes of resolution. But these emotionally charged discussions often lead to more frustration than clarity. Instead, process your emotions privately with Stoic journaling, quiet reflection, or with the guidance of someone you trust. This keeps your emotional energy directed where it matters most, on healing, growth, and self-control. In this way, act as if they don't exist becomes a powerful act of emotional independence. It allows you to engage only where needed, without entanglement, and move through challenging situations with dignity. We practiced emotional distance with grace, remaining steady even when forced to engage with those who've hurt us. Now, we go even deeper, embracing silence as a source of strength. Lesson 10. Give them the silent treatment. In Stoic philosophy, focus always returns to the inner world, how we respond to life, not what life throws at us when facing rejection. This lesson encourages a powerful response, not confrontation, but quiet reflection. And no, this isn't about passive-aggressive silence or emotional manipulation. It's about intentional silence, a conscious pause that allows us to regain clarity, regulate emotions, and set boundaries. Seneca offered timeless wisdom here. True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. When we stop chasing resolution, explanations, or validation, we give ourselves permission to be still and to heal. Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism, once said, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." In moments of emotional distress, silence is often wiser than words we may later regret. Using silence in this way is a powerful act of self-respect. It shows that we're not rushing to react. We're protecting our peace. It becomes a message not to others, but to ourselves that our well-being comes first. In practice, This might mean stepping back from certain conversations, muting specific social channels, spending time alone, journaling, or meditating. You're not ignoring the issue, you're creating space to return to it later with greater clarity and calm. Give them the silent treatment is ultimately about emotional regulation. It's about pausing the noise outside so you can hear what's happening inside. And in that silence, you often find your truest strength. We explored the power of silence and inward retreat to regain clarity and composure. But now, as you begin to re-engage with the world, how do you protect your dignity without clinging to others' attention? Lesson 11. Don't beg for attention. Rejection often leaves behind a craving and urge to win back attention, to be seen, to feel valued again. But Stoic philosophy reminds us, true worth does not come from how much others notice you, but from how deeply you value yourself. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This principle, when applied to attention and approval, means that real peace comes when you no longer hunger for external validation. Don't beg for attention isn't about being cold or dismissive. It's about developing a quiet confidence, one that doesn't require applause or approval to feel whole. When you trust your path, your decisions, and your values, you radiate a calm authenticity, and that, paradoxically, often draws the right kind of people to you. In fact, people are naturally drawn to those who are grounded, who don't push or perform for recognition, but instead simply live with intention and depth. This lesson also invites you to focus inward on things that bring you joy and meaning, developing a new skill, engaging in creative work, nurturing relationships that are reciprocal and enriching. When you invest in yourself and your own life, attention from others becomes a bonus, not a necessity. In practical terms, this means resisting the urge to overcompensate after rejection. Don't try to win back attention by performing, chasing, or pleasing. Instead, return to your center, rebuild your confidence through action, care, and focus. Ultimately, don't beg for attention as a call to emotional self-sufficiency. It's a reminder that your value exists independently of anyone's recognition, and when you live from that space firm, full, and grounded, you no longer ask for attention. You attract it naturally. We learn to live confidently without chasing attention. Now, we arrive at the final Stoic principle, perhaps the most quietly powerful of all. Composure in adversity. Lesson 13. Don't show struggle. This last lesson captures the essence of Stoic resilience. True strength doesn't scream, it stands still, steady and unshaken. When life becomes difficult, whether due to rejection, pressure, or personal trials, the Stoic does not flail. Instead, they choose poise, groundedness, and self-command, not to impress others, but to preserve their own integrity. This isn't about denying or hiding what you feel. In fact, Stoicism encourages you to fully face your emotions, but to do so in private, with maturity and clarity. What the world sees, then, is not chaos but quiet confidence. Seneca said, "A man is as miserable as he thinks he is," meaning, it's not the situation, but our interpretation of it that defines our suffering. So, if you remain composed through hardship, you take back control of your narrative and your strength becomes undeniable. This lesson is seen in small moments: a pause before replying to a cutting message, a calm expression in a tense meeting, a decision to journal, meditate, or breathe deeply rather than explode in reaction. These are the daily acts of strength. That calm isn't arrogance, it's not indifference. It's trust in yourself, in your ability to handle whatever comes. You've survived before. You'll overcome again. Epictetus reminded us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. And in this final lesson, don't show struggle, you respond with steadiness, with poise, with power. To conclude, this is not about hiding your humanity. It's about revealing your strength not through words or display, but through calm action and unwavering presence. This is the Stoic way. Thank you for joining us on this journey through 13 Stoic lessons for overcoming rejection and cultivating inner strength. If this video added value to your life, consider giving it a like to help others discover these teachings too. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights from the profound world of Stoic philosophy. We deeply appreciate your presence in this community. Until next time, keep walking the path of wisdom.